In a small fishing village nestled by the endless crashing silver waves, lived a boy named William. Unlike other children his age, who reveled in running on the sandy beach or diving for fish in the deep blue water, William had a strange, almost obsessive passion. He was captivated by paper boats. Every evening, as the sun painted the horizon red and the fishing boats returned to shore, William would sit by the old wooden window of his house, his small hands skillfully and meticulously folding boats of all shapes and sizes from all sorts of scrap paper. From faded old newspaper pages to shiny candy wrappers, every piece of paper in William's hands transformed into a small boat with a billowing sail. For William, these boats were not mere toys. Each fold was a secret dream, each sail a burning desire. He dreamed that one day his paper boat would be big enough, sturdy enough to cross the vast ocean, to explore distant, mysterious lands no one had ever set foot on, legendary islands told in ancient sea tales. The adults in the village, fishermen with sun-darkened skin and eyes deeply etched with the marks of the waves, often looked at William with a mix of pity and mockery. "William, don't dream such foolish dreams," old Solomon, the most experienced fisherman in the village, with his silvery beard and a voice as deep as the ocean waves, would often say. "How can a paper boat go out to sea? Look at our big wooden boats. They still struggle to withstand a storm. How could a flimsy paper boat, like a dragonfly's wing, survive even a gentle breeze?" William's parents, who had spent their entire lives tied to the harsh sea, were also worried. They wanted their son to learn fishing, follow in his ancestors' footsteps, and live a stable life without facing bitter failures. "Son, please be a bit more realistic," William's mother gently advised, her eyes saddened as she looked at the paper boats stacked on the windowsill. "Paper boats are only for playing in the village pond. They'll be destroyed in the big sea, and you'll regret it." William heard all the advice, all the dissuasions, all the skeptical remarks, but not a single word discouraged him. On the contrary, every time someone said, "You can't do it," a flame of determination ignited within William. He never stopped exploring and learning. He spent hours in the village library, devouring old books on physics, aerodynamics, and even legends of ocean-crossing ships. He experimented with various types of paper, different folding techniques, trying to reinforce his boat with beeswax, tree sap, and even his own tiny strands of hair. William believed that if others could create large boats from wood and steel, he could also do something extraordinary with his passion for paper boats, making it a reality. The fateful storm. One fateful afternoon, as the clear sky suddenly turned a frightening gray, a fierce storm, unseen in decades, unexpectedly struck the fishing village. The wind howled like a devil, and the ferocious waves, as high as mountains, furiously swallowed many of the fishermen's boats. Dozens of boats, the hope and livelihood of the entire village, were overturned and shattered like broken toys. The entire village was plunged into chaos. Cries of despair echoed everywhere, and desperate eyes stared out at the raging sea. At that moment, when everyone was screaming and praying, William, with eyes shining brightly and not a hint of fear, and an incredibly brave heart, had a crazy idea that no one dared to think of. He ran to the beach, where the waves were fiercely churning, tearing everything in their path. In his hand was a paper boat larger than any he had ever folded, made from a special kind of paper he had painstakingly searched for, carefully reinforced with secret formulas he had researched day and night. It was no longer a flimsy paper boat, but a work of faith and perseverance. "I'm taking this boat out to sea to find the victims," William shouted, his voice drowned out by the howling wind. Everyone turned to look at William as if he were insane. "This child is in shock. He's so small, and that paper boat is so tiny. How can he do it? He'll die! Don't do something so crazy!" Shouts and protests erupted everywhere. William's parents tried to hold him back, tears streaming down their faces, but William broke free. A miracle at sea, William heard nothing. In his mind there was only one thought, echoing like a bell. "I can do it! I must do it!" He pushed the paper boat into the roaring sea, water splashing everywhere. William jumped in, his small hands clutching the homemade oar. No one believed in him. No one said he could do this. That meant there were no limits in William's mind. With each giant wave that struck, threatening to swallow the boat, William leaned, skillfully maneuvering the boat as if he and the boat were one. The paper boat, to the utmost surprise and extreme fright of the villagers, remained steadily gliding on the turbulent sea, heading straight into the eye of the storm. In the dark, open sea, amidst the howling wind and waves, William found several fishermen desperately clinging to broken wooden planks or stuck on precarious rocks, barely alive. William's small paper boat, though unable to carry everyone, became a miraculous lifesaver, a beacon of hope, helping the victims cling on and survive until the village's larger boats, after the storm had somewhat subsided, could reach them and bring them back to shore. William continuously ferried back and forth, acting as a bridge between the victims and the shore for many hours, facing imminent danger. When William returned, soaking wet and exhausted, but with eyes still glowing with resilience, the entire village greeted him with resounding cheers, choked tears, and deep admiration. Mr. Solomon, his silvery beard wet with tears, approached, knelt down, and placed a hand on William's shoulder. "William, I was wrong," he said with a trembling voice, full of remorse. "I thought you couldn't do it. I spoke words of doubt, but you proved me wrong. You turned the impossible into possible. You saved our fishermen with your unwavering faith." From that day on, William was no longer the dreamy boy, but became a symbol of unwavering will and boundless faith in the fishing village. His paper boats were no longer considered childish playthings, but became works of art, living proof of the power of a will unconstrained by prejudices. Lesson: the story of William and the paper boat teaches us a profound and dramatic lesson. The greatest limitation lies not in the size or shape of what we have, or in difficult external circumstances, but in the barriers within our own minds. When no one tells you that you can't, and more importantly, when you don't tell yourself that you can't, when you completely cast aside all doubt and wholeheartedly commit to what you believe in, then everything that seems impossible can miraculously become real. Believe in your dreams. Nurture the flame of passion, even when the whole world doubts you. Because faith is not just a compass guiding the way, but also a billowing sail, a hidden inner strength that carries you through all of life's storms, turning the impossible into possible and reaching your greatest dreams.